bees and honey are sweet. When bees pollinate the flowers on the manuka bush, we get manuka honey, some of the best medicinal honey out there. The manuka bush is a tea tree. And when we say tea tree, most of us probably think of that from whence we get tea tree oil, an essential oil that is used to treat acne, athlete's foot, and bug bites, to name a few things. But the manuka bush's leaves and twigs even also give us an essential oil. Manuka oil treats similar ailments as tea tree oil, and manuka honey treats a variety of ailments such as wounds and coughs. And you can also make a type of honey from dates. Yes, you and not the bees. Date honey takes wisdom to make. Really? Well, in a sense, yes. The root word for wisdom in ancient Hebrew gives us two words that come together to mean separate water. Think Yah separating the light from the dark, or Moses parting the waters. Or, as my resource here puts it, soured milk was placed in a skin bag that was set out in the heat of the sun and shaken. The natural enzymes in the skin bag causes the water to separate from the milk, forming the delicacy cheese. And furthermore, wisdom is related to the idea of separating, as this word means one who is able to separate between what is good and bad. This one word can be translated as either skill when applied to a craftsman, or as wise when applied to a leader or counselor. So separating between what is good and bad, I remember hearing that somewhere. Oh, that's right. Satan made the claim that disobeying Yah would produce the same wisdom as Yah. So was the tree of knowledge a date tree? Well, it probably definitely wasn't an apple tree. But let's get back to the cheese. A verse found in the book of Isaiah has a very interesting connection between cheese and wisdom. It says, "And he will eat cheese and honey to know to reject the bad and choose the good." There appears to be a physical connection between cheese and wisdom, as this passage indicates that eating cheese can bring about wisdom. But clearly, so can honey or dates. And I think the word can mean honey or dates because in that region is where the origins of date honey come from. So I'm thinking the sign of Emmanuel is that he will eat cheese and date honey. In other words, the sign that Yah is with us is wisdom. Wisdom is a sign that Yah is with you, aka the Holy Spirit is that wisdom. Now, Solomon's hair is also compared to dates, a cluster of dates. Solomon was wise. When you literally think of hair that looks like a cluster of dates, what image comes to mind? For me, it's short locks or curly hair. And I heard a YouTuber point this out before, and I agree. Solomon had short locks, but he also had wisdom. And besides, locks are associated with spirituality, righteousness, consecration, and power. There is a distinction between wisdom and foolishness. They are diametrically opposed. The word says that fools despise wisdom, yet they exalt their own opinions. It also draws comparisons to a fool and how their own mouth tells on them. So a desert is actually figuratively a mouth or speech. And an eye can figuratively mean a spring of water. A fool, like a demon, actually likes dry places. And figuratively for the fool, they don't like wisdom, and you don't hear wisdom coming from their mouth. It's like a dry mouth, a desert. The wisdom that they get is evil. and that in turn creates an evil eye. Their springs have dried up. They separate the good from the bad and choose the bad. Doing this habitually also makes one a child of Satan. So if wisdom and foolishness are opposed and wisdom is of Yah, then foolishness is of the devil. But Satan himself is no dummy, though. And that's kind of the evil thing about him, amongst everything. He knows well and good, but chooses bad. But he dumbs down his children. He blinds them, in fact. And so how can you even come into knowledge if you have been spiritually blinded? This spiritual blindness is an evil eye, a body full of darkness. And if you ever wonder what is going on with people in the world today, therein lies your answer. Yah is not with most people, but the devil sure is. An evil eye trusts the science. It trusts politicians. It trusts these pastors in these corrupt churches. An evil eye is dumbed down by the system, and the system is Satan. So earlier I said Satan's claim was that disobeying Yah, the creator, the giver of wisdom, would make one like Yah. Take some time to think about that and how foolish that claim is. Yet all of us believed it at one time, and most still do. Those with worldly knowledge wouldn't be elevated so much in our society if that wasn't the case. Knowledge is not the end goal, it's just the beginning. So unplug and go eat yourself some cheese and date honey. If you know, you know, my friend.